Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to Stav's True Plan, the podcast where we get into the philosophical sides of life. I'm not qualified to do it, but I definitely got some things to say that you'd want to hear. So, tune into this episode where we're going to talk about death. Death is a very heavy topic, and a lot of people really do get existential. We do it all the time. I do it too. I used to, in the middle of the night, I would get panics. Where do we go when we die? What happens? What happens after? I don't know. It's okay to not know. It's okay to not have an idea. I'm going to preface what I'm going to say. I want something, a quote from a Roman Stoic philosopher. His name is Seneca. He was speaking to this woman, Marcia. I don't know what her name actually is. Like it looks like I don't want to say Marcia because it's Marc. Whatever. Anywho, so he was talking to this woman who just had recently lost her son. Such a travesty. So sad. So this is what he ended up saying. He said, "So what is troubling you, Marcia? That your son has died, or that he did not live long? If it is that he has died, you ought to have grieved him for all along, for you knew all along that he was going to die. You must realize that a dead person is not afflicted by any sufferings, that the things that make the underworld seem terrifying are just myths, that no darkness looms over the dead, no prison, no ravers blazing with fire, no river of oblivion, no law courts and defendants, nor in that state of utter freedom there are tyrants all over again." So, what can we take from that quote? What is it that we can ingest knowledge? Because, like, I'm all about ingesting knowledge, right? What can we ingest from that quote, right? When somebody, a loved one, dies, passes away, it's so saddening. It truly is one of the saddest things that can happen to you. The death of a pet, the death of a family member, the death of your loved ones, your partner. Oh, I don't want to think about it. See, that was my response. I don't want to think about it. Although it should be spoken about. Because there are only two things in this world that are guaranteed, and that's death and taxes. Ain't that right? Ain't that right? Shoo! Let's get into it even further, baby. So, with people having a problem with death in and of itself, it's seen as evil, and that if someone dies, it's saddening. I don't find that to be true. I don't find that to be true at all. As a matter of fact, the world that we live in, you are afflicted with a lot of pain and suffering. The world that we live in, to live, it is to feel suffering. This is true. I know this, and I'm still happy every day. I wake up with a smile due to the fact I even woke up. But I live by a certain rule, and that rule is to never feel bad for the dead. Don't ever feel bad for them. You should feel jealous of them. Because in their life that they have lived, they have experienced so much pain, so much torture. Because what I said earlier, to live is to suffer. You can still be happy and suffer, right? Imagine you have people who deal with cancer, life-threatening illness. Those are who you should feel bad for. Never feel bad for those who have the sweet taste of relief. Now, that doesn't mean that you should seek out death yourself. No. There is meaning of life on earth. There is meaning to be here. You should strive to find your meaning, because that's what makes life sweet. But part of life is the end of others. And how to cope with that? Oh, you cope with it by using the Stoic dichotomy of control. I will preach this until the day that I die. The Stoic dichotomy of control states that there are things, situations that are within your control, but there are also things that are not in your control, right? So let's say, for example, the death of someone else, the death of, for example, the passing away of a grandparent, right? Now, that's a very sad experience. This person has seen you from a baby to an adult, and now they've passed away. So sad. But you need to realize something very important. That this situation may seem completely out of your control. And when humans don't have control over something, when it seems like something's completely out of your control, we humans can't handle it. We go haywire. We start looking for it. Looking how we can control the situation. But it's right in front of you. What you can control. You have control over every situation ever. You control how you react to it. You control how you react to it. Damn, we're gonna have to replay that shit. You control how you react to it. So, that then allows you the power that you would so desire. If you desire control about a situation, and sometimes this, like we talked about, the death of a grandparent, it's out of your control completely, except you can control how you react. So, how you naturally react, very erratic, very crazy. You might be, oh my God, this is so sad. I think the best way to react to a death of a loved one is to basically use that cow shit of an occurrence and use that as manure to grow your life's garden. That's what I think. Because you can also be like, oh my God, they're gone. They're not here anymore. But I'm going to use a metaphor. Just as soon as something gets out of production, like let's just say I have a rare baseball card. They're not making it anymore. It just makes it much more valuable. So the experiences I had with them, the joy that I felt with them, that's it. Those occurrences now are rare. You can't have those occurrences anymore. So pictures of them you have, memories you have, doing a certain thing with them, that's where you should kindle joy from. You shouldn't be sad that they've passed away. Okay, I scratch it. You can be sad, but you shouldn't be distraught, because that's levels far removed from sad. It's okay to be sad. Truly it is. But don't let it consume you. It shouldn't consume you. What should consume you is to think about, all the wonderful times you had fishing with your grandfather, knitting with your grandmother, playing with your dog, etc. Right? This could be any situation. You can apply this to every passing of a loved one. Anybody or anything, like a pet, for example. That's all you need to do. Because if you don't do that, you're going to find yourself coping with death in a very insane way, because the way how nowadays is, we're not, like with modern medicine, we're not equipped to have stress response to how people now have care up until the very end. Um, Funerals are very monetized right now. Like once upon a time when someone passed away and that was it, right? We have in our biology a way to react and respond to that. But a lot of people still forget we're animals too. Still, I know it's hard to believe. After all this time, we are still animals. So, a lot of people, what they go and do is react, right, within their nature, as it is to be an animal. And for some reason, that's crazy. How dare you act within your nature? We're humans. We're supposed to be more civilized than that. No. We're not as far removed from what we call good boy or good girl. You know what I'm saying? Here's a treat. Polly want a cracker. No. Polly does not want a cracker. I'd rather much have the little oyster ones that look like little gems. I'm joking. I'm kidding. I can be funny too. I can be philosophically funny. But for real. When we act within our nature, it gets talked down upon. That should never be the case. But I digress. I need to digress from the situation and talk about the core of what I'm trying to say. The thesis of all that I've said so far. You deserve peace in what you're experiencing. I'm not delegitimizing what you're feeling. What you're feeling is real. But I, a studying Stoic, would argue a lot of people think that Stoicism is the removal of emotion. But I think everyone should be a Stoic. Because in its definition, it's better understanding your emotions. That's hard for men nowadays. That's hard for everybody, but especially men. Because they don't necessarily get the same response as other people may. We're taught to keep it in. No. Everybody. I'm speaking to everyone right now. It's okay to be sad. It's wonderful to be happy. It's wonderful to be sad on that regard. But you shouldn't hide how you feel. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to hug, hug. If you want to love, love. You deserve that privilege. You deserve that right. So in terms of somebody passing away, my response to you is feel what you want to feel, but think actively as you do it. Don't let your mind run rampant on its own. It can get crazy if you do that. Don't let your mind run rampant. Actively think and reflect on the memories you've had with this individual, with this pet maybe. In this, if you want to, you can apply anything to this really. But there's a time and a place where you need to think actively. I don't believe in purely just random thought. No. Your mind is a wonderful tool, and you should use it actively. So use it actively and pull yourself out of this slump. And accept it. And go on with your life. But as you're living, remember, don't ever forget. You'd be doing that person a disservice if you've forgotten every experience. No. Oh, damn. That was heavy. That was pretty heavy. I hope that you're doing okay. Because that was a really heavy topic to talk about. And I really hope that you've healed so far. I hope that this has helped you. And now we're going to get to the second half of this discussion. Now, when I was asked to talk about coping with death, I wanted to talk about two things. I wanted to talk about coping with death as other people in your life. But there's always one thing. The biggest problem is your own. Buckle up. This is going to get messy. When talking about your own death, that is a very... That topic is worse. It's worse. It just come to terms with that being worse, right? It's... Oh my God. I took my hat off because hey, listen, this is going to get heated. And it hit my microphone. I'm leaving that in because this is raw and uncut. That's all I believe in. I don't know about that highly edited bullshit. I don't like that. But anyway, at this point in your life, you have definitely thought about your own death. What happens after? Is it just darkness? What will you do? Nothing, because you're dead. Sorry, that was a little insensitive. No, it wasn't. I'm not taking it back. I'm not taking it back. I won't be taking it back. I'm not taking it back. Are you okay if are you alright if I don't take it back? No, I don't care. Alright, cool. I'm having fun. A topic like this should be lighthearted, and just imagine. I want you to close your eyes, right? I want you to imagine, because now we're gonna get crazy, right? I want you to imagine your funeral. I don't want you to imagine the exact details, but I want you to imagine the individuals who would probably end up being there. And I'm not saying your funeral if you died now. Your funeral if you died with established families. Unless you already have like kids. I mean, that's good. That's cool if you got kids. But I'm just saying, imagine those people, right? And how will they act? They'll probably be upset. If you're a good person, of course. But you meant such a great deal to many people. That's what you need to carry with you. You better hope that those individuals listen to my podcast and understand how to cope with your death. But truly, a problem is coping with your own, right? And I think the great big problem is that many people just simply cannot come to terms with it. They can't come to terms with the end. You're not invincible, my dear. You're going to die one day. It's true. Except for me. I'm lying. No, I'm not. But it is true. You're going to pass away one day. Now we're going to refer back to the Stoic dichotomy of control again. Your own death is absolutely unavoidable. You need to come to terms with that. It's uncontrollable. You simply can't control it. But like I said earlier, you can control, say it with me kids, how you react. How you react to it. Yes, you can. Yes, Lord. Yes, you can. So, your death in coping with that is really important on how you live day to day. You need to live your life with meaning for your death to mean even more, but in a better way, not like that weighs on your shoulders. Coming to terms with your death is meaning living life and looking at the world a little bit differently, because it's been a long while since I've actually thought about death. You know, I am young as I record this. I'm a youngster, but I'm not afraid of dying. I've come to terms with the reality of death. And I think that coming to terms with death is the first step in realizing to live better. Because you deserve to live better. A lot of people live life inefficiently and live life carelessly. They think they're never going to die. They think they're invincible. A lot of young people are this way. Very, very, very young. 10, 11, 12, especially in your teens. I will never die mentality. Although we're reminded time and time again with children passing that our mortality is so very real. So let's look at it. We're going to write a chalkboard. Close your eyes and imagine I have a chalkboard in front of you. We're going to write down one constant. That is death. Absolutely. You can't control it at all. You just cannot not die. It's going to happen, right? Don't freak out. Please don't freak out, okay? Because you need to reflect on how you're living life now. Are you living life the way you want to? Are you living life with meaning? If not, where will you derive the meaning from? That's what we're going to get into the next episode. But I digress for the third time, I be digressing or whatever, But death is a very important tool to remind you that your time here is limited and that every day means something. Because if every day didn't mean something to you, you're going to teleport from 5 to 50 in minutes. I've never believed in life being a cycle, right? Although life is a cycle, for you, don't let it be. Live your life in a linear fashion, on a timeline. In your history books, people's lives are represented by timelines, not cycles. As a cycle is guaranteed to start again. And you don't have that guarantee, do you? Whether you believe in reincarnation or not. You don't have that guarantee. You don't. There is no guarantee that you will come to life on Earth again. So, use your death as a reminder to live life more efficiently, with more happiness and joy, with every day that passes. I want you to eat life with no leftovers. And when you're on your deathbed, your loved ones are all around you. God willing, hopefully, that's how you pass away, is around people you love. That is if on that day, you can close your eyes and be content with it. I know sure as hell I'll be content with it. Because I'm living every day happily. I know what makes me happy. I know what my joys are. My simple pleasures. Waking up is my pleasure. I love waking up. Do you? If you answer no, then you come to the right place. I hope you enjoyed this episode. This topic was heavy. But I'm giving you homework. I want you to do what I said in this podcast. I want you to reflect on your life. And how can you live life more efficiently? Where can I go? I'll be right here, baby. Don't you worry. I'll help you out. Stav out.